times in stories that you'll read something or you'll watch something, you'll be engaged with something and you'll be like, okay, this is good, this is entertaining, or this is, this is a sufficient way to spend 2 hours of your life type thing. The Shift, it's made out of magic.
Hi, so I just finished reading the script for The Shift.
I don't think I've ever read 127 pages that quickly.
And I love it.
I got angry when someone interrupted me.
I even skipped some of my work.
Brock did this crazy thing. He did this crazy thing to where he put his script out online, which is crazy. Who does that? That is, I've never heard of that, and I can't really understand it. Anyways, I hope that's a great idea. I think it will be.
Hey, Matthew S. Nelson here. I want to talk to you about Brock Heasley's script for his feature film, The Shift.
Awesome.
The Shift is not just science fiction. It is excellent, profoundly rich and stirring science fiction.
The Shift is basically a love story.
Whether you're a drama, action, sci-fi, no matter what kind of film you enjoy, this film is for you.
The short version, that short movie that we got, you have seen nothing yet.
It goes from there and takes you off a cliff into this crazy adventure that's filled with action and twists and turns and reveals all the way until the very end of the story.
Our lives and our reality are based on all of our choices and how we handle temptation. The Shift makes that quite obvious.
Truth just buried in it like treasures for us to find.
What keeps us looking for ways to help others when we ourselves feel helpless? How can we find the strength and motivation to keep taking up that cross, knowing each step may bring us closer to the place where we will hang from it?
So this will shift perspectives, shift attitudes, and shift a lot of things.
And it is so amazing. Part where he says, deny him one more time. I was like, oh.
Don't judge me, Satan.
The fact that the worldview of the film is robustly Christian makes it even better, because that is not a viewpoint often represented in the genre.
When I heard this was a Christian film, I was very, very skeptical.
The godly message amplified by The Shift is not sugar-coated and not predictable like the typical film of faith.
Everything that could have been cheesy wasn't. It wasn't. Seriously. And that's very good work.
I'm not even a sci-fi fan, but the writing is exceptional, and it hooked me from the very beginning and kept me captivated to the very last word.
It had me on the edge of my seat. It gave me chills.
This script is fantastic.
Brock, you're brilliant.
Brock Heasley, this guy, he's done something magical. The dude's made out of magic.
The pace is almost frantic. The dialogue is smart.
I've never hurt anybody my whole life.
No, but you have such potential. You're a halfway decent guy. It's the other half I'm particularly fond of.
The characters are real humans with real-world imperfections.
And the ending was just superb. I love it.
I walked into my house, and my dad was sitting in his chair, and I told him, I'm like, I think this is the most impressive thing I've ever read.
But I want to see it on the big screen in the theater.
Can't wait to see this made into a feature film.
I want to see this as a film today, tomorrow. I mean, right now. I want to watch it right now.
This does well for the religion. This is good PR for Christians, for us.
So thrilled that I'm already invested in it.
I strongly urge you to be a part of getting this film made.
Make it now.
Invest, support, pray, help with this mission.
And I hope that you'll join us.
The dude's made out of magic. That's what I'm telling you.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's Shift live stream. I'm Brock Heasley, the writer and director.
Of what?
Of The Shift. I mean, obviously, that's what we're talking about tonight.
I'm Orlando J. Gomez. I'm the producer.
If I have to say that at this point. Then,
of The Shift.
of the Shift. Okay, everybody clear on what movie we're talking about? Good. All right, let's go. We are so excited to be talking with you tonight. This is one of my favorite fun things to do.
All the fun things, this is your favorite.
Tonight, we're going to learn how to talk.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. No, I love doing commentary. I love taking a deep dive into things that we've created. I mean, it's kind of beside the point. What's really the point is the thing itself, the animatic, which we're talking about tonight. But also just letting you know, kind of what went into it and giving credit to the people who worked on it. That's I love doing that. I will take any opportunity to do that. But that's what's happening tonight. We're grateful to have you here with us. Anybody who is new, we welcome you. If you don't know what the Shift is, you're going to learn a lot tonight. There's probably going to be some spoilers tonight. A lot of spoilers tonight. So if you're unfamiliar with the Shift, I encourage you to go to angel.com/the Shift. Check out our short film. That'll give you a taste of kind of what the film is like. But there's even bigger tastes on that page if you start scrolling down. There is the animatic, which is going to show you a sequence from the third act, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And then also you can read the full script for yourself, full feature film script. And there's lots of info there. And of course, the most important thing you can do there right now is to invest.
Yep.
At angel.com/the Shift, you can invest in this film right now, become a partner. We're not talking about donations. We're talking about investment.
Got one already?
We already got one. Jorge from Florida invested $900. Jorge,
awesome.
You were the man. Thank you, sir.
Way to kick this thing
Appreciate it.
off.
Yeah, we're kicking it off right. Michael from Georgia invested $501. Welcome to the party, Michael. And do we have any more? Yes, yeah. Brenda from Texas, $150. Thank you so much, Brenda. And there we go. That is I love starting off like that. That's
great start.
Awesome. So we're excited to talk about this tonight. We so far have raised a decent amount of money for this film. I believe we are over 700. We're at $721,824.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. That is the theme for tonight. You'd think we never done this before. No,
we've just done too many.
Maybe we've just done too many. We're tongue-tied. Look, we're in the home stretch here.
That's right.
Today marks 1 week. We have exactly 7 days left. Tuesday of next week is the final day to invest. If you have been waiting, time has almost run out. It is time. It is time to make this happen. Let's see. We are excited. Also, over the weekend, we made an announcement. We launched a really, really cool new thing. In fact, this thing is so new that when I tell you what it is, you're probably going to say, what? We've launched an NFT. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and I have just told you nothing else about it that you can understand if you don't know what an NFT is already. Basically, what an NFT is, it's a way for artists to distribute their art through digital means and to earn money and to make it valuable. We have created a Shift NFT, and that is something that you can get by being an investor. We are calling it a stretch goal. And with this stretch goal, you can get the NFT perk. Anybody who invests $500 or more between now and when we reach $750,000 in total investments for this round, which, by the way, is going to happen any minute now, you can get an NFT. $500 gets you an NFT. Now, why is that $750 important? Because after that, after we hit $750,000 in investments, the cost of the buy-in to receive the NFT is going to increase significantly. So if you're thinking you want to get in on the Shift and be an investor and you want that NFT, do it right now because it's about to be a lot more expensive. So definitely do that now. We got a comment here from Sarah. She says, already invested. I'm excited to see the final movie. I wish I could do it at the NFT level. That's a pretty cool incentive. Yeah, it is, Sarah. We would love to have you do it at the NFT level as well. The NFTs, and you know what? Rather than explain this, I'm going to show you. We created a really cool little video with Angel Studios that explains what an NFT is and why it's so valuable and why you might want one. I'm going to drink some water while you watch this video. Check this out.
What is an NFT? Let me explain some history. So you might recognize this guy, Walt Disney. He created some amazing animated films. Back in their early days, after creating films like Bambi and Cinderella, and Snow White and many of these others, they had built up this giant storage of celluloids. So these are individual frames within the animated film, and they no longer had storage capacity to take care of all these. And he had people telling him, you've got to get rid of them all. You just got to throw them away. Those are worthless, and we've got to make room for other more important stuff. He didn't want to do that, and so instead, he took the celluloids to Walt Disney World, and he sold them for $8 a piece. So $8 at that time is the equivalent of about $100 right now. And you're saying, oh my gosh, how did $8 become $100? Well, it's a thing called inflation. A great aunt of a man had bought one of these celluloids from the film Fantasia and had passed it down to him. And he went to the Antique Roadshow to get it appraised, and he found out the value was anywhere between $9,000 and $12,000 for this one frame of Fantasia. This one from Pinocchio doesn't even have Pinocchio or Geppetto in it, and it sold for $31,000. This one from Snow White sold for $27,000. Here's one from Cinderella, that sold for over $1,000. One from Tarzan that sold for over $2,600, and another one from Snow White that sold for $18,000. So clearly there's a lot of value with these individual celluloids of the original art of the film. NFTs make it so you can own moments from modern films. I've got to explain that term NFT. What does that mean? Now, here's a digital art piece. It's called Every Days, the first 5,000 days, made by the artist Beeple. And he sold that, he or she, I'm not actually sure which it is, for $69 million. The NBA has actually taken the NFT technology and applied it to highlights of amazing plays and dunks. A LeBron James Lakers highlight sold for a record $208,000 on NBA Top Shot. Here's all these different digital works that have sold through the technology of NFT, including that memed cat we all know, Nyan Cat, or whatever its name is, for $631,000. This isn't a copy of it. This is selling the original meme. Now, there's this whole collection of art called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And you can see right here, this one sold for $121,000. There's all different versions of it that they've created where it's similar ape characters. And this, again, it's this whole series, and they all have different variations and their own uniqueness. But they sell these individually with NFTs. And because you own the right to each one of those, and because they're exclusive, because there's a limited supply, they have some value. So what is an NFT? You're like, please answer this for me finally. Well, I'll answer that for you by letting a YouTuber answer it for you, who is Johnny Harris.
NFT stands for non-fungible token. Let's talk about the word fungible. I want to use a different word for fungible for a second. Let's just use the word replaceable. Non-fungible means non-replaceable. You can't replace it. There's only one of them. It's unique. Non-fungible. Let me give you an example of something I feel very strongly about. Let's say you want to buy an orange jacket. You want to buy an orange jacket. You go on the internet and a jacket costs $39. If you purchase one of these jackets for $39, you don't care what specific jacket they send to you. They're going to make thousands of jackets in your size, send them to stores, send them to people, and they will send one to you. You don't care which one it is. The jacket is fungible. It's replaceable. As long as you get one that's identical to the rest, it's worth the same to you. They're interchangeable. However, let's talk about one Uniqlo orange jacket that has been with me for a very long time. This is the original, and for those of you who don't know, I sort of have a strange attachment to this jacket. I just love it. I love the color. I feel like an identity with this thing. And it's sort of starting to disintegrate, but I love it. And I kind of fell in love. This jacket is not replaceable. If I went onto the website and paid $39 for a Uniqlo orange jacket that was this exact same model, it would not be this jacket. This jacket is non-fungible. It is the only one on the planet that exists. It has emotional value. It has significance. It is a very valuable thing because it is scarce. There's only one of them. Everything in our economy is one or the other, fungible or non-fungible. A sack of rice is fungible. You just want a sack of rice. You don't care which one it is. The Mona Lisa, non-fungible. There's only one. Unsurprisingly, non-fungible things are way more valuable than fungible things. So that's the NF in NFT, non-fungible. There are tens of thousands of NFTs of all kinds. Some music is being given tokens. Lots of art is being minted as tokens and being bought and sold. And then, of course, there's
NBA Top Shot,
who's taking advantage of this.
These highlight moments, these top shot moments from your favorite NBA players have been turned into non-fungible tokens.
Jesse made headlines the other day when he paid $208,000 for LeBron James Top Shot.
The whole art industry is based on the idea of a bunch of people deciding that this painting, this little bit of canvas and wood and paint, is valuable, and thus it is valuable. The only difference about now is we now have the technology to do this in a non-physical way, using this very sophisticated internet technology that is maturing very quickly.
Again, coming back to Walt Disney, those individual celluloids, those individual frames from his feature films have a lot of value because there's so much cultural interest around those films. He's created some classics. So celluloids, why are they valuable? There's only one ever made. You can prove it's yours. You have the physical good. Famous films made great investments, and they were really good art for your wall. You can resell them, but it's really hard. What we've created is a single frame. There's only one ever minted, and you can prove that it's yours through the technology of an NFT. And so we think we can create something very valuable for the individual art pieces and frames that will be connected to your own exclusive NFT. You can also use your own NFT as a profile picture on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube, your TikTok, whatever you want to put it on. And coming soon, we will release a system where you can easily resell your NFT if you want to sell that to an interested party.
I'm so excited to be partnering with Angel Studios because they've created these nifty gifts, or NFTs, so that you can own a piece of the Shift's history with a unique frame from our original short film. We have a limited time NFT perk attached to our current stretch goal. What that means is those who invest right now will be investing in the Shift and will get an NFT of an original frame from our short film. However, when we reach our current stretch goal, the cost of the NFT perk will increase. So act now to get your NFT perk before the cost increases. All right, so that is what an NFT is, how it works within what we're doing with the Shift. We know you probably have questions. If you do, throw them at us in the chat and we'll be sure and answer them live. Lois from New York just invested $300. Congratulations, Lois, for joining us, and welcome. If you do have a question, throw it at us.
I have a question.
Okay, Orlando has a question.
Have I logged enough hours to get my own NFT?
Have you?
So I want an NFT.
I think you should probably get an NFT at this point. Yes. I think. What do you think? Does Orlando deserve an NFT? To my knowledge, you have not invested in this film monetarily.
Okay,
but maybe in other ways he has. Does he deserve one? Let us know. Jane says would love to do the NFT level. Yes, the current NFT level is $500. That is done. Once we hit $750,000 in investment, we are close to that. So if you want that NFT at that price, you better get in now because I'm telling you it's going to increase significantly very, very soon. Melanie says, I'm so excited about the NFT. Thanks, guys. Awesome. Awesome. Glad to hear it, Melanie. Hopefully you've already gotten in with that. Jennifer says, words are hard.
Yes, they are.
Thank you, Jennifer. Investing in the Shift is easy. Yes, it is. I like that too.
That's a good slogan.
Yeah, let's. I don't know about a slogan. Hey, Ron found it easy from California. He just invested $201. Thank you so much, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
We do think that investing in the Shift is pretty easy. If you haven't done it, go to angel.com/the Shift. You hit the back this project button. It really doesn't take that long to do it, and it's a pretty simple process. And by the way, I want to encourage everybody. When you enter in your information, please do it accurately. This has all got to be checked by financial institutions and the SEC and stuff like that. So any kind of errors in entering your name or your social security number or anything like that is going to cause a problem and possibly result in your
disqualification.
A cancellation of your investment if we're not able to resolve the issue. Right. So make sure you enter things correctly. One other thing, I'm trying to remember what it was now, about this is. No, I can't even remember. This is going so well tonight.
Words are very, very hard.
Words are very, very hard.
We'll come back.
No, I remember now. Okay.
There it is.
please share with your friends. If you have not done that yet, hit that little share button. Let's get people watching tonight, because we are about to dive into the animatic and talk more about the film, specifically about the feature film and why this is something that's going to be really, really exciting. So if you haven't hit that share button already, please do so. One of the reasons that this film is so exciting is because we have really talented people working on it. There are a lot of talented people who worked on the animatic, and we're going to talk about that. But when it comes to the greater film, we also have incredible people working on that. And one of those incredible people is Dallas Jenkins, who is the creator of The Chosen and also an executive producer on The Shift. This is what Dallas had to say about The Shift and why he believes in it and why he is an executive producer.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money, but I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where The Shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So The Shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of The Shift and the future of The Shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side, I've seen it on the directing side. And in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
Nothing! Nothing! Tomorrow. I am greater than God. Jesus Christ!
And that's what The Shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. Click the link to invest in The Shift today.
And that link is angel.com/theshift. And look, if you invest, there's not only the NFT perk, but there's other perks as well. And I just want to run through those real quickly so that you know what you can get besides partnering with us, besides helping make this film happen. There are other things you can get too. If you invest at the $100 level, for example, your name is added to the backer list, added to basically our website. If you invest at $300, your name isn't just on the backers list, it's also going to be, where's the $300 one? It's coming up here. There it is. Your name is also going to be in the credits of the film. That's right. Your name will be in the credits of the feature film. Does that mean we're going to have a lot of names in the credits? Possibly. Probably. But that's good because it shows how many people believe in this film, and we want you to have your name in there too. If you go at the $500 level, there's the NFT right now until we hit 750K. And also, if you go to the $600 level, you'll get an exclusive newsletter from us, from the creators of the film. We'll be sending that out to you and only you. And then if you go higher than that, At $1,000, I'm going to create a special director's cut of the trailer, probably going to be longer. Well, definitely going to be longer than the trailer that everybody else is going to see. You got to have some more footage on it. And this is, of course, is going to be before we release the film. So you're going to get to see some of the film before anybody else.
Right.
If you want to go higher than $1,000, at $1,500, we'll show you the whole film early. That is really, really exciting. I think that's one of our best perks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
At $3,000, we're going to be taking a lot of photos behind the scenes. And some of those photos are going to release to the public, but not all of them. You'll have an exclusive access to our behind the scenes photo album just for you. Higher than $3,000, you can go to $5,000 and you can actually be in the film. How would you like to be in the Shift as an extra? Now, look, you're going to have to pay for your lodging and your travel and things like that, but we'll provide dates to you and you'll get to actually come to the set and be part of the scenes and see yourself in the movie. Go higher than $5,000, go all the way to $10,000. You'll get to do everything. By the way, all of these things build, right? So any tier you get in on, you get all the perks below it as well. Get to be an extra at $5,000. At $10,000, you get a signed copy of the script. At $25,000, not only are you going to come to the set and be an extra, but you're going to have 1 day full access to everything. You get to walk around, see what's going on.
VIP.
VIP, basically. You'll be there with us the whole day and see the movie being made. Words are hard tonight. What is up with that? I write words. I don't say words. $50,000 or more. You come to the set. You're an extra. You get full access. And you and I, we're going to have lunch together. We're going to be able to talk. Ask me any questions you want. I would love to share a meal with you. Come and join us. If you go above that, yes, there is even tiers above $50,000, $75,000. You become an associate producer on the film. You get an IMDb credit. You get to be somebody who helped make this film happen. And that is a prime position in the credits, to be an associate producer. But that's not it. The last one is the $100,000 level. This is for people who want to be an executive producer. Who else is an executive producer? None other than Dallas Jenkins. Your name, Dallas's name, together in the credits. You help make this film happen. You get to be an executive producer. So that's it. Those are the perks. That's what's going on. That is what is available to you as an investor. And look, this investment is over on Tuesday. Right. 7 days from now. Yeah, like there's no overtime. There's no going back on that. We got a question earlier. Is like, why is Tuesday why is that the last day? Why is that the deadline? Because there has to be a deadline, basically. We can't just we'll read that in a second. We can't just keep going and going and going. This is a real investment. This is regulated by the SEC. We have to tell them, hey, this is how long we're doing it for. That's just the rules. So we've set Tuesday. Tuesday's the last day. We cannot accept any investments beyond that. So if you want to do it, get in it now. If you wait until the last minute, I guarantee you, the people listening right now, they're going to wait. They're going to think, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then the day will pass, and there won't be anything we'll be able to do for you at that point.
That's always happened in the previous ones.
It happens every time.
All the time.
Every time. So, Jennifer says, I don't see the be Brock for a day level. Jennifer is referring
We're working on it.
To something from a previous live stream. I'm not sure that level is going to happen. You're not going to be able to take over directing this film. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wait, we got one more here from JB. He says, NFT investment is done the same way as original donation. First of all, JB, it's not a donation. It is an investment. So there is nothing, no donations are being accepted here. When you invest in this film, you're a partner in the film. So no donation. But yes, the NFT is a perk for investment.
Correct.
So it's not like a separate thing where you go in, you pay $500, you get an NFT. It's you invest $500 and then the NFT is given to you as a perk of doing that investment. So thank you for that question. I guess we didn't make that very clear.
Right.
It is a little complicated. So thank you for that question, JP. We appreciate that. Monica says, are all the perks cumulative over the 3 investment cycles? Monica hitting me with a word that plagues me on a good day. Certainly even more so on today when I'm having so much trouble with words. So yeah, Monica, this is a great question. The way the NFT works and any perk works is that it is cumulative over all of our different offerings. Correct. So if you invested $500 in a previous round that we did of crowdfunding, you've already got the NFT. It's yours. If you invested $200 in a previous round of crowdfunding and you want to add $300 tonight or in this next week, you'll get the NFT. So everything, when we look at how we distribute perks, it's going to be totaling up all the investments you've done for this film over the course of the 3 different offerings that we've been doing.
Yep.
So pretty good deal, actually. Pretty fair way of doing that, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're excited to do that. If anybody wants to increase their investment to achieve a perk, you can do that. You can build onto the one you've previously done. All right. We ready to dive into the animatic?
I am.
I think you are. I know that you've been excited about this,
absolutely.
Orlando, because this is the animatic is one of those things that was created by a small group of people. It is as cool as it is. It was really just a small group of people, and Orlando was involved in that, but kind of more on the fringes of things because it
wasn't part of the day-to-day.
Yeah, you weren't part of the day-to-day. So I'm very curious on your perspective on it as we talk about it. But also I'm excited to reveal to you guys like how we put this thing together and how it really does speak to what the film is going to be. So the first thing to talk about is just like the process of getting it made. First of all, I'll be honest with you, I was dead set against even making an animatic.
So was I.
So was Orlando. I did not want to do this. It was first proposed to me by Jeff Harmon over at Angel Studios. He just thought it'd be a great thing for us to put together to really show people the ambition of scope of the feature film beyond the short film. The short film is one thing, but just reading the script, you can tell there's so much more to this story and so much more scope and ambition to it. So he just thought, hey, this would be a great thing to show people, to get them really excited about the shift. And I just thought, man, Jeff, that is a giant undertaking. Are you kidding me? Plus, I don't know how to do that.
Right.
I have never created an animatic. Nobody I know has ever created an animatic. It's like what Marvel does.
Right.
Marvel creates animatics to like plan out their action scenes. An animatic is not something that an indie film usually does. But then I started thinking about it, as I usually do after I say no, and I realized, wait a minute, I think I kind of know some people who might be able to help me out with this. So one of the things that I do kind of on the side and have been doing for years is I create comics. And through the comic that I work on, which is called the Super Fogies, little tiny plug for that if you want to check it out on Amazon. I know people, a lot of artists, a lot of different people in kind of like in the art field. And I realized, I probably know somebody who knows some animators. I probably know somebody who knows somebody who could help me out with this animatic. And sure enough, I was right. And I got connected to a gentleman by the name of Kevin Mellon. And Kevin is a fantastic storyboard artist who has worked on shows like Archer, Black Lightning, and the current hit Monkey, which just came out this week on Hulu, which I hear is very profane, and I have not seen it. But the show looks really exciting, and most importantly, Kevin is the lead, as far as I understand, is the lead storyboard artist on that show.
That's a big deal.
So Kevin is a very, very talented artist. And so I got hooked up with Kevin and I talked with him, and I basically just said, look, Kevin, I've got this script. These are the 10 pages I want to make into an animatic, but I have no idea how to do this. And thankfully, Kevin was kind enough to say, I gotcha. And he kind of walked me through the process, and we worked on it together. And that process was a long one. It took 3 months to put this thing together. It started off with literally me and Kevin talking 4 hours, sometimes in conjunction with our director of photography, Kyle Jentz, and breaking down the 10-page script, the 10-page portion of this script,
like shot
by shot, shot by shot, like going through every single angle, every single thing I wanted to accomplish with the camera in live action. I had to communicate that to Kevin while he took notes. That is a very long process. It's a long process for a director just to write down in the first place, but then to communicate it to somebody else, it took hours and hours and hours to get that done. And so when you're watching the animatic, it's very much a thing like it is ripped from my brain. It's something I very much directed it, just like I'll have to direct, or rather get the opportunity to direct the live action version. It very much represents the vision that I have for the film in that way. And that was what I communicated to Kevin. Now, Kevin's a very talented storyteller and artist in his own right. So, he was able to spice it up with some different ideas too. It was very much a collaboration in that way, as any film is. It's erroneous to say that a film is entirely attributable to the director. That's not quite how it works. The director is really the guy that keeps everything in line with the vision for the film that is only in his head. But how that vision is executed is very much the result of the talents of a lot of different people.
Absolutely.
And their ideas and their talents are also embedded within the film. So when you watch the animatic, the same is true for that. Yeah, I signed off on everything, but I'm not going to take credit for every idea and every beat. That would be inappropriate. So I'm very grateful to Kevin. He ended up generating over 600 drawings. But before he generated those drawings, which are the ones you see in the animatic, he actually drew the whole thing out with stick figures. And I want to show that to you right now. This is a glimpse. This is the first pass we did on the Shift Animatic. This is what it looked like when we first started putting it together. Like, it is very, very rough, as you can see. Satan is designated with a head and an S. You know, I think Kevin is designated with a K. I mean, you're watching this and you're like, well, this looks pretty similar to what the final product is, and that's true. But imagine looking at this and trying to wade through this and trying to figure out what it's going to be, and trying to, you know, pace it out and edit it. And some of these edits are not right. We ended up changing the edit a lot all the way through to the finish. But the basic bones are here. This is also the version of the animatic that I handed off to our sound designer and to our composers. For a long time, this is all they had to work with. So they had to use a lot of their imagination to figure this out.
What's interesting about this, I believe once this was made, that's kind of where my part was done. And I don't think I saw anything from this. It was this and then the final version.
Right.
Like there was nothing in between. So it was a huge jump.
Huge jump for you.
For me, it was really cool experience.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, look, you can see the bones of it. It's all here, but it's very crude and it's very rough. And in some cases, only Kevin, our storyboard artist, could even understand what it was. Like, there were many times when I'd be like, Kevin, okay, I don't really know what frame 124170-3 is. Like, what is that? And that's what those numbers are down at the bottom. Those represent the frames that he drew. So they change up every time the frame changes. It was a very complicated process to put this together. And of course, this is the slowest part. You know, this is just Kevin and Satan talking. As we went through and it got more and more complicated, the animatic got crazier and crazier, and in some ways more rough even than this, because we just got to get through it. We just got to, you know, and this is just done for pacing reasons. And then once we were able to get a 10-minute, you know, stick figure version of this thing, that's when we could finally translate it into the final art. So that was just kind of the process. Part of the process here, too, was also calling in the actors and having them perform the parts. Hold on, right here. Listen to this. Okay, you hear that screaming?
Yeah.
Really? Yes. Oh, can we turn this up for a second? Rewind that a little bit, and let's turn that up. I want you guys to hear how lame the sound design is that I did for this thing.
Tell you, I don't know anyone named Daniel Asada. I don't know him.
Amna, Mary.
Priya, hide the girls.
Reggie,
I
inside.
remember watching
Come
this.
inside.
Please, leave.
Change that, or is that how it's gonna sound?
Yeah.
This is like my worst fear coming through right now.
Right, it's so bad. Okay, we can turn it back down now and just let it play. But that was this. This is what it sounded like at first. It was just this really terrible, like, screams of little children that I grabbed off of, you know, a British, you know, free sound effects site. I mean, it was just, you know, whatever I could do to get through. And here's some of the gunshots that.
But you know, the cool thing is here too. There's still a lot that really translates to the final one, in that really showcase what he could do, even in this rough, like the hallway shot where they're walking, they step on the doll, it has like kind of, what is it? This undershot where they kind of like
walk low angle shot up
and I was thinking like, oh, that's really clever. Like, they're actually making shots, like actual how the camera's moving. It's not just a bunch of static storyboards. It's like, okay, this could be interesting.
Yeah. I think that was the first time you started actually believing in it, was when you saw this version.
Yes.
Because I don't think you fully understood what we were going to be doing.
You had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. It's kind of hard because you say animatic and that's such a foreign word. Like, what does that even mean? But anyway, it ended up being pretty cool. Let's get rid of the stick figure version. That's enough of that. That just gives me pain. Sharon from Texas invested $204. Thank you so much, Sharon. We appreciate you. Linda from Massachusetts just invested $201. Thank you so much, Linda. All right, now let's talk about the real one here. Okay. Let's throw up the animatic, the final finished one, and we're just going to kind of talk through this a little bit and talk about, you know, how this gives us insight into the feature film. Now,
big upgrade.
Big upgrade. Now this art. Now this is, Kevin calls this his rough style, and the edit, by the way, it looks very finished to me. I mean, it is very rough. But it's but Kevin is so talented that it looks like finished art. A lot of these look like very finished art. By the way, this was put together by a very talented editor by the name of Jace Hill. He was the one who took all of Kevin's drawings and put them together and helped us pace it out and did all that and put in some of those early sound effects that we ended up getting rid of. But it was very, very important to have a good editor on this, and thankfully we had one. This conversation right here, and look, we're going into spoiler territory. If you don't want to know anything about the third act of the film and haven't read the script, go away, I guess, because we're going to talk about it.
Go watch the short film.
Go watch the short film and check out angel.com/theshift. But this conversation is really important because this is the first conversation that Kevin and Satan have had since the diner, since that prayer. And I think here's the big insight I'm going to give you on this scene. Everything Satan is saying to Kevin is really important, first of all, because it's really setting up our climax, which is coming up later. Satan is planting seeds in Kevin so that he can pay those things off later on and really stick it to him in the climax of the film. But as a writer, as I'm writing this, in my mind, everything Satan is saying about Kevin, he's really talking about himself. Satan is expressing his own feelings about God, trying to get Kevin to doubt God, but also expressing his own feelings about God. And look, we don't usually think of Satan as having feelings, but I do believe that he is a real person. I believe that he has gone through an experience. He's fallen. He's a fallen angel, which means he fell from grace. He once had God's grace, fell from it. And so he's got feelings about that, anger mostly. And that's coming from a real place. And look, when you're writing a character, it's got to come from a real place. Now, Kevin is here in the hallway. That is Rajit. We see very little of Rajit in this animatic, but Rajit is a very important character and a friend to Kevin within the body of the film. And Orlando, that's you playing Rajit. It's your voice. And this is just those screams, those new screams are just lovely. Those were put in there by Brandon Jones, our sound designer. And we also have the music. The music is going crazy. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. This scene with, this is probably going to be a really complicated thing for anytime you're involved in bullets and things flying around. In one way, I'm very, very excited to shoot this scene in live action, and in another way, I'm very, very intimidated. Now, this device on Kevin's arm, that's the deviator. That's the means by which shifting happens. This is how we say to the audience, this is a sci-fi film.
Right.
This is not magic. These aren't wizards. This isn't even supernatural in the sense that we think of religion.
Right.
This is the Satan in our story. He doesn't have a lot of power, really. People sometimes have accused us of giving Satan more power than God, which I really don't understand how you get there watching this, because Satan has exactly one power, and that power he has is with this device. It's technology, which is he can move people from one reality to the other. That's it. That's all we're saying he can do. So this device is your indicator of that. And that design you're seeing of the deviator is really just something Kevin came up with because we don't have that finalized yet.
Right. Well, it's a cool design.
It's a cool design. Yeah, we'll probably borrow from it.
And he gets the point across immediately.
Yeah, totally.
Does a trick.
Now, this coming up right here, this is my favorite music cue. We're going to be talking a lot more about the music with Matt Nelson and Dan Hasseltine on Monday. We're going to have a live. We haven't announced this yet. We're going to have a special live stream on Monday and talk with them about the music for the animatic. But this cue right here, especially right here, right there, where the organ kicks in. The organ was the big role for the music, especially for this sequence. Originally, this full sequence of Kevin shifting from world to world, in my mind, this had no music. This was just sound effects. The sounds of the world that he transports into, the sound of shifting, the sound of pushing the button. I just wanted to focus in on that and just make this eerie and mysterious and not give the audience any real clue of what's happening or what's coming next. And one of the ways you can do that is by having no music. Matt and Dan saw this animatic and they're like, no, that's where we put the most music.
Right.
Let's go crazy. Let's put our theme in there. Let's make it super intense. And sure enough, I realized very quickly that they were right and I was very, very wrong. Because to me, that is the coolest moment of this whole animatic. is that music.
It's definitely really intense, and your heart starts racing. You're feeling what he's feeling as he's going through all these different worlds.
Yeah, totally. Hey, can we rewind back into the shifting? I want to talk about something else I totally skipped over. Let's rewind back to the sci-fi city, right there. Let's go back right there. Okay, so let's check this out for a second. Now, I've had somebody ask me a question just today, and they said, "Look, shifting, does it involve time travel?" Because Kevin goes to this like futuristic city and there's this spaceship that flies by. He's like, I think if you're involving time travel, you're kind of breaking the concept a little bit. And you know what? Probably true. And the thing is there is no time travel. There's no time travel in the shift. This is not time travel. What I am trying to do with this moment right here, where we've got this sci-fi city, it's the only time we really go totally fantastical.
Right.
Everything else he shifts into, every other world, even though we see them very briefly, you can tell they're very real world. They're very a desert highway. They're the Earth. It's, a beach, a casino. These are real world places. This is the only one that he shifts into that's completely like off the charts crazy, does not exist in the real world. There's a reason for that. My reason for that is that I'm trying to indicate subtly to the audience, in just a small way, that the shifts can get a lot crazier than what we see in this film. You can shift. Look, Satan says there is no fiction. That's what he says. And whether or not he's telling the truth or whether or not that is the truth, I'll leave for you to decide. But what he's talking about here is that anything you can imagine can exist within the multiverse. And so there are worlds that are crazy. Worlds that look futuristic, that are set in the present day, but technology for one reason or another has advanced much more and more quickly than it has in our world. So that's just kind of my little hint at that idea that what we're seeing in the shifts is pretty grounded, pretty ground level, like what we're familiar with mostly. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole other version of this film that could be made, or a sequel with a much bigger budget where we could go into some really crazy worlds if we wanted to. The concept of shifting supports that. It's built in.
Yeah, because the idea is with each parallel world, so to speak, little deviations can happen, but they can lead to big deviations.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so
butterfly
the butterfly effect. So what does that chain of events look like? What does that lead to in the end result?
Right.
You know, maybe this is a world where there was no World War II, and there's a lot more resources, a lot less death, and
or maybe Tesla got respect.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Tesla didn't get run out of the scientific community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So science got way more advanced because Tesla was able to do his thing.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy stuff like that. You never know. So that's just a hint of that. Okay, let's hit play again. Let's keep going here. There's our spaceship. There's our desert highway. Now, underneath the music, and you can hear some of it, is a lot of fantastic sound design. And we have totally obliterated almost with the music. There is a whole, in fact, I might share even with you a whole other version of this that doesn't have any music. And we could also show you a version of this that would have only music. If that's something you'd like to see, let us know in the comments. We are doing another live stream on Saturday. Haven't announced that yet either. And Brandon Jones is going to be our guest. That would be a great opportunity to show a sound effects only version of the Shift animatic. That we could do that. If that's something you want to see, let us know.
There's a part later on where I think the sound is like really it really sells everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll call it out.
Call it out when we get there. This I love. This is kind of our Matrix moment. Yeah, I mean, look, we're borrowing from the Matrix. There's no question of that. All these guys that have the same face with guns attacking our hero.
Agent Smiths.
Yeah, a bunch of Agent Smiths. But of course, it's more than an homage. It's getting at an idea. Gabriel, again, we're in big spoiler territory here. Gabriel, who has been Kevin's friend the entire movie, was revealed in his death scene to be a shifter, which means there could be more of him out there. Shifters travel between worlds. So it's one of those things where, again, we're hinting at a much grander idea. Okay, now this is Tina. This is a heartbreaking scene. At least I hope it's a heartbreaking scene. My heart breaks whenever I watch this scene. That's my wife playing the doctor, and that's Reese Etzler playing Tina. Reese was not Tina in the short film. We tried to get Tina
to play Tina.
Yeah, Tina Simonian back to play Tina for this, but unfortunately she was unavailable. So we had Reese Etzler, a local actress, come in, and I thought she did a fantastic job. Very affecting performance. Yes. She really got into it.
And it kind of scared our neighbors for a little bit.
That's true.
We'll talk about that when that happens.
Let's pause this for a second. We'll tell that story. We next door, where this office is what is it? It's a trauma center.
Yeah, like a trauma therapy center.
Trauma therapy center. And so here we are screaming and crying, and right next door is this trauma center. Thankfully, we went out ahead of time. We told them, hey, there's going to be a lot of crazy noises coming from our side. And
but we didn't tell the rest of the staff in the office.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I remember afterwards being told that when we got to the comic scene where she's like screaming her head off, that everybody in the board meeting next door was kind of like, what's going on? We got to go figure this out. And my dad was here, and he's like, it's cool. They're recording next door.
That's funny. Anyways, it went well. Hey, Calvin from California just invested $252. Thank you, Calvin. Welcome aboard. Okay, let's go ahead and keep playing here. This is, I love the way that this scene came together. It was a really difficult thing to get paced just right.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to move too quickly through these emotional beats, but I also knew that some of the heavy lifting was going to be done by the music.
Right.
And so you just got to make sure that, that's where the director's vision comes in handy, because the tendency of the editor is going to be to move things very quickly.
Right.
And so there's a lot of moments like this right here where she's rubbing his head. The initial edit of that was basically just a pat and then the grab. And I was like, no. Let her pet his head for a while. Let's get a few back and forth. Let's space that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just pacing things like that. I think we spent more time just adjusting the pacing of things than just about anything else. It was a very tedious and very different process than it is with live action. With live action, pretty much you have what you have. You got to work with that. With something like this, you need to get the feel of live action without actually having any of it. You've got to make it feel like live action with drawings. And one of the things we did at the very, very end of the process after we had everything done is we had Kevin go back in, and he added, I think, about 50 more drawings. Just little moments, like little connecting moments, like Tina, her eyebrows move up, or the petting of the head. We had him just do some additional drawings, just a little bit more. Satan's eyebrow arching, just those little things that really. I mean, it's amazing how just adding those 50 more drawings, filling in some of those little moments, just upped the level of quality so much, just to get those last final details in there. This sequence here was really, really tough to get done. A lot of little moments right here that we added at the very end of acting and spreading his arms and things like that. We actually had a mistake that we made here. Oh, did you have something?
No, I just say this is the part where I feel like the sound design.
Yeah. With the opening of the fridge and everything.
As he's walking in, the opening of the fridge, rummaging through stuff.
Yeah.
There's no talking, there's no real music, so you really get to hear it. And it sounds like it's written on the video. Like we shot this.
Right.
We took the video off and just did this animation over it. It feels like. Yeah.
And none of that is true.
Right.
Every single sound you hear in this, none of it was filmed. All of it was just stuff that Brandon either had or found and just tossed it into this thing to make it sound like it is a true live action. That's what happens when you work with the best. Brandon, of course, we are going to be talking to him on Saturday. He's a veteran of A Quiet Place. He did the sound design for that movie, which is one of
all sound design.
Yeah, all sound design basically, and one of the best movies to come out in the recent years. I think it's really important to note that Greg Tharp, who played Kevin in the short film, is also playing the role of mob boss Kevin in this scene. That's not two different actors. That's the same actor playing two different parts. And he did such a great job modulating his voice and modulating his performance that I've had people watch this and think that it's two different guys.
Right.
It's not. It's the same actor performing two different parts, performing against himself. But of course, that's not how we recorded it.
No,
we didn't. He didn't do one voice and then immediately. We actually recorded both parts completely separately and then married them together in the edit, which was my task to figure out. And then we have this great beat here at the end where he opens up the drawer. What does he expect to find in there? The Bible. And it's not there. That's our out.
So it tells us he's back where he was.
Yeah, it tells us he's back where he was. And the Bible is kind of a totem in that sense. It represents, the absence of it represents when he's on the dark world. Mm-hmm. And when he finds it, that represents he has moved away from it. And in the film, it really becomes a thing where he continually is looking in that drawer every morning, hoping that he'll find the Bible, that they'll have been shifted during the night, that God will have come and shifted him away from this terrible place he's been stuck in, and he'll find the Bible in that drawer, and then he'll know that he's finally safe.
Right.
So the fact that he does find the Bible during this animatic sequence is a really, really big deal. It doesn't play that way so much right now, but in the body of the film, that's going to be a really big moment.
In the room where the woman's taking a shower and he comes out and yells at him.
Right.
It's
right.
like I love that kind of like juxtaposition. Like it's a very heartfelt, very exciting moment, and you're in that moment, and all of a sudden he notices something's amiss, and then you see her, and it's like this kind of comedic, silly kind of a moment.
Totally.
That kind of like break in tone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite things that I think movies can do so much better than any other medium, which is that you can have these wild tonal shifts. And a skilled filmmaker, and the skilled filmmakers would be some of my favorite filmmakers, are able to have moments of comedy, moments of drama side by side, and it just works. They all fit together. And that was the task with making this animatic, was that I knew I had these beats, but they had to fit in with these dramatic moments. And if you swing too wildly, you get a really bad movie and you notice it right away. But if it's finely tuned and the filmmaker is skilled and they know what they're doing, then those wild shifts become enhancements. They become your favorite parts of the movie, quite honestly. I mean, when I think about my favorite movies, those are my favorite parts. And whether or not we did that skillfully, and whether or not it works, and whether or not we're able to pull that off, I mean, that's up to you. But that's certainly my ambition.
Yeah, I don't know if you this was your intent, but I know like Guardians of the Galaxy, like they do that constantly.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like it's dead serious, very dramatic, and then someone will make a comment or a very subtle thing will happen,
right?
And it breaks that tension, but then not so much that it ruins the moment.
Right.
You get a nice little chuckle, but then it immediately goes right back to where it was.
Well, I feel like Dallas is really good at this with The Chosen as well. The Chosen has much more humor in it than you would expect, given the subject matter. But Dallas understands that humor is what enhances the drama.
Right.
Pamela says, I'm grateful for your fine work on this project. The music is awesome. And Pamela should know because she is Matt Nelson's mother. So
there you go.
Thank you, Pamela. We're glad you feel like we did right by Matt's work. Kara says, Brock is an important filmmaker. We need to get him in Orlando making a film ASAP. I mean, that's the whole goal here.
Yeah.
If you like the animatic, if you're looking at that and you're like, whoa, if this were live action, this would be a movie that would blow the roof off. Go to angel.com/theshift. Invest now. We are inviting you to partner with us. That's what this is all about. That's why we're talking to you tonight. And that's why we've made this animatic, because we want you to see really what the vision is here.
And I think that's what I'm really excited about too, is that animatic really showcases some of like the highlights, some of the highest points in terms of like the sci-fi and the special effects, and just how mainstream, I guess you want to say, very Hollywood that can be. And it looks great in the animatic. It's really exciting, but man, to see that live action, it's going to be fantastic. It's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, no. And I think, this is the first time I think you can see, that's the point of it, is to see how we're going to execute it. What are the shots? What are the angles? How are the performances going to be?
How's it going to feel?
Because I've heard from a lot of people who have read the script, and it's really that section of the script that they get to, and they're like, I don't totally understand what's going on or what you're going for or how you're even going to execute.
It just sounds like craziness.
It just sounds like total madness. And now we can point to this animatic and you can say, well, this is how we're going to do it. This is what it looks like. This is how it's going to feel. And I see so many people connecting more with the animatic than they even were able to with the script.
It makes sense too, right? Because on a script, that whole sequence when he's like jumping through the world it's just exterior day, forest,
right?
And he shifts in.
Right.
Exterior day, desert. He shifts in. Like okay, so if you're not familiar with the language of a script, and you're just reading like what's going. Like 2 pages of just like random lines of interior, exterior day, whatever. And so, I get it. And now you can see it.
Tim says this animatic needs to be a future NFT. Tim, I'm not going to lie. We have definitely had that thought. I would not be surprised if that is something we do at some point. We had a comment earlier from Jane. She said that she has invested. We appreciate you, Jane, and we appreciate your investment. We're so glad to have you with us. Let's see. If we have any final questions, we can take those. Otherwise, I do want to once again direct you to angel.com/theshift. We do have a few questions, so those are coming in. But go to angel.com/theshift. You can invest right now. You can partner with us. Let's see. Sherry says, how will you go about casting actors for parts? It's a great question, Sherry. So one of the things that we're going to do once we have enough funds is that we're going to hire a casting director and begin the casting process. Actually, before that, and probably in conjunction with that, is that we're going to be casting our 2 lead roles, which are Kevin and Satan. We want to cast those parts, get those locked in, figure out what our schedule is with around their schedule, because our goal is to have those be named actors, people who are very busy, and so we're going to try to cater to them as far as our schedule goes. Once that's established, then we can start
doing a general casting.
Yeah, doing a general casting call, reaching out to people for supporting players and things like that. So we're going to be casting this like a traditional film.
Yep,
basically
the standard model.
Yeah. Okay, I think we got another question here. This is from John. This is our last question. He says, "Have you chosen a song for when the credits roll at the end of the movie yet?" No, John, I haven't, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of like the pop song that kicks in at the end.
More the cinematic score.
Yeah, I'm more of like the cinematic score, orchestral, or if we're going to go with a song with lyrics, then it's got to really tap in to what the film is, or maybe be from within the body of the film. I'm not sure. I can tell you that within the body of the film, we are aiming to use the song "Oh My God" by Jars of Clay. It's actually written into the script. And of course, it really helps that Dan Hasseltine,
and a cool thing about it,
one of our composers,
it was written into the script before Dan Hasseltine.
That is correct.
One of the composers.
That is correct.
I remember that conversation. We were sitting in my living room. I think we were like just working and doing some editing. And she's like, "Is it too bold that I have this in here, just assuming that this song is going to be able to be in?" It's like, no, go for it. What do we got to lose? Let's see what happens.
Yep.
And then just down the road,
and then Dan, who wrote the song, co-wrote the song, read that, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a good use of that song. Let's see if we can make it happen." So it's not official yet, but Dan is definitely keen on making that happen. Hey, Gilbert from California just invested $201. Welcome, Gilbert. Thank you. We're so happy to partner with you. So I don't know what we're going to do for the credits yet, but if it's going to be a song with any kind of words or lyrics, it's going to have to really fit, because I just have a prejudice against that kind of use.
And Matt and Dan are obviously expert at what they do, and so I mean, they may have some ideas, and
they probably do.
Something
they probably do. I can tell you that there are some conversations about music and about songs that have happened kind of on the side, particularly between me and Dan, that I'm not ready to share yet, but that are very interesting, and it'll make all of this much more interesting. But we'll reveal that when we're able to. That's just a little tease for you, that there are some very specific conversations happening.
That one I know.
Oh no, you know about that.
I do know that one. That was
It's pretty exciting, right? If we actually get, but we can't announce it until it's actually official. But needless to say, that the wheels are turning. Yeah. I'm happy to report Matt and Dan had a fantastic experience working on the music for this animatic, and they're excited to do the full feature film. But they're going to talk more about that with us on Monday. All right. We are going to be doing this again. We're going to be coming to you live again this Saturday. We're going to have Brandon Jones talking with us, and we're going to have Shift Con. It's Shift Con. What is Shift Con? You ever heard of Comic Con? We're going to do a Shift Con. We're going to be talking about all things Shift, talking with the people with Brandon, who's behind the sound design. We're going to kind of dive more into the sci-fi of it all. I may even share this super secret document that I just shared with you recently, yesterday. I sent it to your email. You probably haven't even read it. But a while back, I actually wrote the rules to shifting.
Yes.
And
I did read that. That was
how
really
shifting
cool. You hadn't shared that with me.
I've never shared that with you before.
Oh, no, that was really cool. I was like, oh, man, he really thought through this.
None of it that's in the movie, but it deals with math, and it deals with definitions and things.
It made sense. So to your credit, it made sense. You created the rules to the world, and clearly the movie follows those rules. But even just reading the rules on a sheet, it's like, oh, yeah. This is sweet. It's something that I've handed off to a gentleman who's working with us. We just signed on recently, named Darby Faciento, and he's going to be doing our interface. Our user interfaces, our computers and stuff, what they're going to look like. So I handed that off to him to help him figure out how that stuff should look. Cool new addition to the team.
Yeah, very cool new addition to the team. He just recently worked on the show Loki, did all the screens for that, and he's also working on Hawkeye, which comes out next week. Did all the screens for that as well. So he's going to be working on the show.
I'm excited for that. Marvel's what's the holiday action film? What's it called?
Christmas show.
Christmas action. Yeah.
Anyway,
Die Hard.
So maybe on Saturday I'll share some of the rules behind the math and the rules behind shifting. It's very detailed. It's not in the movie, but I actually have thought through this stuff. that is never going to show up on screen, at least not in any way that anybody would be able to understand everything that I've thought through. Anyways, I got really nerdy with it. We're going to get nerdy on Saturday. That's what I'm telling you. We're going deep dive into this stuff. So I'm very excited for that. What time is that happening? Our team listening to me, can you just talk in my ear real quick? Yeah. I don't remember what time that's happening. I think it's at 2? 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. Pacific. We're going to be coming to you live for ShiftCon. Watch out! We're going to have that loaded up here on the Facebook page soon, and you'll see, be able to RSVP for that essentially. And please invite your friends. It's going to be a really, really fun day. Hoping we can get a lot of you to join us that day. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Those of you who invested live, welcome to the team. The NFT $500 level is disappearing fast. Don't wait. Invest now. Add to your investment if you want it. It's happening right now. We have 7 days left. This is a very, very exciting time to be a fan of The Shift. And we will see you again soon. I'm Brock Heasley, the writer and director of The Shift.
And I'm Orlando J. Gemmons, producer.
Good night, everybody. Okay, you're going to have to forgive how dark it is right now. I'm in a parking garage in LA. And I am here in LA to visit a couple of very important people. For the first time, I'm going to meet executive producer Franco Sama in person. Also later this afternoon, I'm going to be visiting with Tom Armbruster, who is the president and CEO of the 209 Group, which is a special effects house here in Los Angeles. I'm going to see the brand new tech that he's got. Very excited to talk with him about our ideas. And more importantly, I'm just really excited to see this tech. This stuff is insane, and I can't wait to see it for myself in person. Meeting with Franco finally was fantastic. He took us on a tour of LA Center Studios where he works, has several sound stages where a number of productions have been hosted over the years, including one of my favorite shows, Mad Men. I never get tired of the environment that movies and TV shows happen in. There's just something that's kind of electric about it. I'm like a kid in a candy store with that kind of stuff. We got to talk about everything that's going on and how good the investment is going already, which he was very excited about, of course. We were able to meet with Tom Armbruster at 209 Group. We were able to see his whole setup. He just last week installed LED walls, which is the same background tech that kind of takes the place mostly of blue screens and green screens and allows you to just put an actor in an environment that looks photoreal, but that actually is not. And the great thing is that these aren't like photographs that you put on the screens. These are 3D renders that are done with a video game engine called Unreal. And that means that the environment can be manipulated. You can change the lighting. You can move a scoreboard from one place to another. You can turn on the fan or turn it off. And you can do all of this digitally. Pretty much anything you can imagine you can do within this 3D rendered environment. And even when you're standing there with it face to face, it looks 100% real. And of course, it looks even more real in camera. And so getting to check out that space with Tom and hearing him talk about his career and how he came into it and how excited he is for this technology, about how he just met with the Marvel guys last week, and the fact that Tom saw the short film of The Shift and believed in it so much and what we're doing so much that he offered this space and this technology to us to use for free is still a mind-blowing thing for me. Orlando is more of a visual effects guy than I am. I mean, I love visual effects, but Orlando knows visual effects, works in visual effects. He was really taken with it and understood, of course, everything Tom said on a level that I, quite frankly, did not. And we also had the chance to talk with Tom about some of the sequences that we want to pull off. Thankfully, everything we talked about, everything we want to do, Tom could see clearly how it could be done. And he saw very clearly, as I do, how these spaces, which a couple years ago didn't even exist, are really the best spaces to do these sequences in for The Shift. So we're going to have some state-of-the-art visual effects, the kind of which a film of our size never really would have access to otherwise. And we're able to do that because of Tom and because he is somebody who believes in what we're doing and wants to support us. That kind of support is how we make this film even better than it would be otherwise. And I'm very, very grateful for that. This was our LA trip. We got so much more to do before this movie's ready to be made, but this was an important day. This was an important day to connect with Tom and connect those dots with Franco as well. It's coming together. That's what I see happening. It's just coming together.